Have you ever thought of launching a membership for your business? Wondering whether you should go the membership route or just do an online course? Unsure how to create a membership that people want to join and stick around, all while not putting you on the content hamster wheel for life? If you've ever had any of those questions, this is a must-listen episode. I have the membership guru, founder of Tribe, Stu McLaren, on the show today. Stu has taught thousands of entrepreneurs, myself included, how to create, launch, and scale membership-based businesses. From memberships around entrepreneurship, the arts, health and wellness, dog training, and so many more niches, Stu has seen it all and knows the ins and outs of how to do memberships successfully. In today's show, he is dishing some of his best tips from what monthly deliverables work best, how to keep customers around month after month, and what makes the difference between a membership that succeeds versus one that flops. That's all coming up in this episode, so stay tuned. You're listening to the Passive Project Podcast, where we talk about how to build your online business to make more income, more impact, and give you more freedom in your life. I'm Gemma Bonham-Carter, business strategist, mom of two, lover of passive income, automation, and coffee. Welcome to the podcast. Welcome, you guys, to today's show. We have a very special guest, incredible entrepreneur, fellow Canadian, founder of Tribe, guru of all things membership. Welcome, Stu McLaren, to the show.
Wow, what an intro. Thanks, buddy.
So excited to have you on the Passive Project Podcast today so we can really dive into memberships, because I get the question a lot around people wanting to start memberships, kind of unsure of where to begin, how to really lay this out, how to make it work for their digital business. And I have had such an amazing time in your Tribe program. I joined last year in 2019, got through the material super quickly. I was like eager beaver student, attended Tribe Live, had a great time, and learned so much from you. So I'm really excited to have you on the show today.
Well, I appreciate that. Great. Well, listen, let's just dive in because, I think at the end of the day, people will hear my passion for this. And not only because I see what it's doing every single day in the lives of so many entrepreneurs and business owners, but because now more than ever, we as business owners, we need stability in our business. And there is no better way to create that stability than through a recurring revenue membership. So I'm excited to help your audience in any way I can.
Yeah, absolutely. The timing of this conversation is definitely very on point and relevant, I think, for everybody. So when we're talking about the membership model, why should entrepreneurs even consider going that route when they're thinking about creating and launching digital offers?
Well, bottom line is that it creates stability, like we were talking about. If you don't have recurring revenue coming into your business, then what's got to happen? Well, that means every single time you want to make a sale, you got to go and you got to find new people to sell it to. So you're always in this hunt, if you will, to find new people. And it's always a one-time transaction, which means you're always working. So if you stop selling, the revenue stops coming in. But with a membership site, it's the complete opposite. It's more about taking care of the people that have already bought from you. Mm-hmm. And what I love about it is it deepens the relationship and it shifts the focus from always finding new to just really taking care of the people that you want to be able to serve. And, you can look at it in a whole bunch of different ways, but I'll just give you a quick example that is just really concrete and just shows the difference in terms of the stability of what a membership model can do. So right across from our office, we have a relatively new car wash. And when the car wash was being built and then it started up, the guys in the office, they came running over and they're like, Stu, you got to go check out the car wash. And I'm like, what's the big deal? It's a car wash. And they're like, yeah, but it's using a membership model. And I was like, okay, well, I'm the membership guy, so I got to go check it out. So I go across the road and I want you to listen to the way that they set this pricing up. You could go through the car wash one time for $10, or you could go through an unlimited number of times for $12 a month. So it makes it a no-brainer. It's kind of like, well, why wouldn't I upgrade to the membership? So I was eager about it. So I went in and I talked to the girl and I said, so how many people have you had sign up for this thing? And she's like, it's crazy. Since we've opened, they've been open about a month at that point. She's like, since we've been open, we've had over 3,000 people sign up for the membership. And I was like, chunk, jaw
Wow.
dropped to the ground. I was like, wow. So of course I sign up for one. And because it's right across from the office, I am going through the car wash literally like every day. And so I'm coming home and my wife's like, why is your car like so clean? And I'm like, well, babes, I signed up for this membership. There's a car wash right across the road and I'm going through it every day. And she's like, well, can you take my car through it? And I said, no, listen, honey, listen, the membership is for my car. I can't just like transfer it over to your car. And she's like, well, why don't we get a membership for my car? And I'm like, okay, great idea. So back to the car wash I go, and I'm signing my wife's car up. And again, I'm asking, and I said to the girl, I said, so what are you up to now? She's like, we're over 4,500 monthly paying customers in their membership. Okay, so time out for a second. There is literally another car wash down the road from us, like 30 seconds. And it's one of those kind of pay-as-you-go car washes where they hope people are going to come back and buy from them again. Whereas the one right across the road from us, they know with certainty 4,500 people are going to pay them every single month. That's the difference, my friends. And all it is a difference in business model. One has a membership, the other does not. The other hopes people will come back. The other, with a membership, knows people will come back. That's why I love memberships.
Yeah, what an incredible example. And I'm sure that they are, they're setting themselves up to be like a long-term business. In any other car wash can come into that area, into that neighborhood, and really is going to have a tough time competing against them.
Totally. And just think about it from a business owner standpoint. Like when it comes to thinking about hiring and expanding and scaling, like when you are hoping people are going to come back, you're a lot more tentative because you just don't really know. But when you have the stability of membership and recurring revenue, it is predictable and you can make better decisions when you're not burdened with the financial stress of hoping people are going to come, but you have that certainty of knowing that they're going to come back and buy from you.
Absolutely. And I love that idea of being able to, for especially the people listening, the idea of like hiring your first VA, hiring your first team member. That's going to be a much easier decision when you know that you can expect X amount of revenue coming through your door every month and you can pay that person to start growing your team.
Absolutely. And for businesses like ours that are more digital, where we are, maybe selling courses and coaching programs and so forth, the thing that we got to realize is that like, when we have that stability, any promotion or launch that we do, it's all icing on the cake, right?
Yeah.
Like it's all extra. Like that's the fun money, if you will. That's not the, so what happens is it changes your entire frame of mind when you're going into a promotion. You're a lot more creative, you're a lot more relaxed, and you don't have that same level of pressure as you would if you needed that income. You had to have that income. And who knows, like who would have thought what has happened in the last several months has happened? Like none of us, this was on our radar, and it's completely thrown a lot of businesses for a big loop because they weren't prepared. They were depending on one-time income, promotional income, event-based income. Whereas the businesses who have recurring revenue have not been impacted anywhere near as much. And that's why I believe in this more now than ever before.
Yeah, it's great. So a lot of people listening probably already have an online course, or maybe they've got one almost ready to go. I know a lot of my audience are going down that path. How can online courses and memberships sort of work together, either in a product suite or in some kind of ascension model? Can you walk us through some examples that you've seen be really successful?
Well, Gemma, memberships and courses are good. They go together like peanut butter and chocolate. Like it's not like one or the other. It's like both. And here's why. So typically the way I encourage people to think about memberships is you either have a front-end membership or a back-end membership. Now, a front-end membership, the purpose is to generate stable recurring revenue and to bring a lot more people into your world. It's more of a low-end offer to really begin supporting people in the journey of being able to get some kind of a result. Now, when we're selling courses, a front-end membership is a perfect way to create and captivate a much wider audience, which then is perfect to then upsell into a course or program. Because inevitably, when people are wanting to learn a skill, there is nothing more powerful than immersing themselves in a very concentrated time to go deep in that subject matter. That's what a course does, right? It takes us deep into learning what to do and how to do it. Now, that is a front-end membership, which can work great as a lead gen, if you will, like a qualified lead gen for a higher price course. Now, it can also work tremendously well as a back-end membership, because here's the thing. When somebody goes through a course, they're learning what to do and how to do it. But very seldom do they have the bandwidth to also be implementing it during the time that they're actually learning it. So they get to the end of the course, and most courses, it's like, okay, we're done. See you later. And people are like, what? No, wait, hang on. Wait, what is the community still going to happen? Like, well, where do I go for support? Like, what if I have questions? Like, there's this fear and there's panic. And so this is why a back-end membership is such an amazing complement to a course, because now it's not so much about teaching them what to do or how to do. It's about supporting them in the implementation of it over time. And so what happens with a back-end membership, this is where I get lit up, is you start to see way more results because you're with people during the journey of actually implementing it. You're helping them get through those sticking points. You're helping them break through those things that could be holding them back. And now they implement, and now they start getting results. So a membership works either on the front end as a great way to create stability in your business, introduce people to what it is that you're doing to create high quality leads, or it works great on the back end as a way to support people in implementing what it is that you're teaching in your course. Now, I got so many great stories to share that of course creators who have then added memberships on the back end, but a perfect example is Nicholas Wilton. So Nicholas Wilton, he serves artists. He helps people become a fine artist. And he called me. He has a very long course. It's 12 weeks long. That's a long time. But anyway, that's another story for another day. So he called me at about 10 weeks in, and he said, Stu, I don't know what to do. And I said, well, what's going on? He said, well, we're getting toward the end of the course, and people are asking questions like, well, what's going to happen to the community? Like, well, you know, am I still going to be able to get support? And he said, and I know it's perfect for a membership, but I don't have a membership site built. What do I do? So I said, dude, just be open and upfront and offer people the opportunity to join you as a founding member in a membership that you'll release 2 months after the course is ready. And he said, really, I can do that? And I said, yes, you can do that. So here's what he did. He invited people who were in the course to join him on a webinar. On the webinar, he told them that this wasn't even on the radar, but this idea came to mind because people were asking questions like screenshot, screenshot, screenshot. And then he cast the vision for what he saw this membership and this community becoming. Then he invited them to come and join him as a founding member. And as a reward, they would be locked in at the lowest price it will ever be offered, because if and when he did open it, the price would immediately be going up and they'd be locked in at the lowest price. Now, here's the crazy part. Because he had been with these people during this course experience for 10 weeks, he had built a real intimate relationship with them. So of the just over 200 people that were going through the program, this is crazy, over 180 of them signed up at $30 a month, generating $5,400 a month before he had even created the membership. And he was very upfront about saying, look, if there's enough interest, we will move forward with it. It'll be 2 months before we go live. And so he did. And the crazy part is it created a ton of momentum because he already had the momentum on his side after taking people through the course. Does that make sense, Gemma?
Yeah, that's such an amazing story. And just to, like, does he still use that model? Does he still have the front end online course, or does he now just offer the membership?
So yes, he still offers the membership as a back-end membership. And what was interesting was he experimented because, you know, for a year, he had it only as a back-end membership, meaning the only people who could come into the membership were people who would come through his course.
Right.
Then he experimented with opening it up to people who had not gone through his course yet. And what he found was it created a totally different mix, because now he had to backtrack and he had to explain a whole bunch of things to people who had not gone through his course. So ultimately, he has kept it as a back-end membership. It's only available to people who have come through his course, because the strategy in terms of what you provide and how you position your content is different for a front-end membership as opposed to a back-end membership. So it's really important to get that clarity first, because that's really going to drive a lot of your strategy.
Interesting. So one of the things that I really took away when I went through Tribe that I hadn't really thought through, and I knew that Tribe was coming. I was going to buy it. I had decided months before, but I went ahead and launched my membership before I was able to get Tribe, because Tribe only opens once a year. So I unfortunately wasn't able to use the founding member script or do any of those early stage things using Tribe. But one of the things that was really provided so much clarity for me was the part in Tribe where you talk about sort of core content and deliverables of a membership, and kind of having 4 key deliverables every month, and really mapping out what those are and having them look quite different so that members are really supported in the ways that make sense for them. And for me, mine ended up changing over the course of the first 8 to 10 months of running my membership, because I sort of found out what really worked and resonated and what didn't so much. So can you just talk through what those, what the deliverables sort of thing means, and give some ideas or concrete examples of what people could use for their own thought process?
Yeah, and I'd love to unpack a couple things that you said that are really important here. One, you said your membership changed. And here's the reality for everybody. It is going to change. It is going to change. This is why I so recommend to get going. I heard a quote back in 2004 from a gentleman by the name of Mike Littman. He said, you don't have to get it right. You just have to get it going. And that's more true with a membership than anything, because a membership is not necessarily like a course, or even not like a book, where it's a lot more final in terms of the content, right? A membership is much more fluid. It's changing all the time, because you're learning how to support your members in being able to get results and make progress. And so I love that you said that, because the reality is the sooner you get started, the sooner you can dial it in and really understand how to support and serve your people. Now, with that said, yes, there are 2 types of deliverables that you're going to provide in a membership. One is what we call core content. And this is what, kind of think of it as foundation content. This is when people come in, this is what you want everybody going through to get everybody on the same page, so that we are all understanding this is where we're going, this is the vision, this is the progress that we're looking to make. And because you came through Tribe, one of the things that I mention a lot is that we need to create a success path. And a success path is really like a journey. It's a vision. Because here's the reality. Nobody goes from not knowing how to play the guitar to being the next Eric Clapton overnight. Nobody goes from not knowing how to paint to becoming a Picasso the very next day. Nobody goes from a white belt to a black belt. It is a journey. It's a journey. That's what we want to our members to realize, is that this is a journey. Now, with that, the core content should focus on the vision for the membership. It should focus on getting everybody on the same page, and it should cast the vision of, here is the stages that somebody would go through to go from not knowing how to play the guitar to becoming a great guitar player, not being able to paint to becoming a great artist, not knowing anything about calligraphy to becoming a great lettering artist. So there's lots of different things that we want to provide in the foundation content, but ultimately it's talking about the journey and the vision for where this is all going. Then each month we have a second type of content. So we have our core content, then we have our monthly deliverables. And a lot of people make this mistake, Gemma, and that is they provide way too much content. Now, here's the thing I want everybody to make note of. I have been helping entrepreneurs and business owners for over a decade when it comes to creating memberships. I have literally helped tens of thousands of people in all kinds of markets, from photography and calligraphy to fitness and finance and music and art and health and dog training and so many more. And what I can tell you is the number one reason that people cancel from a membership, no matter what market, is overwhelm. It's not that the content isn't good. It's not that they're, they can't afford it. It's that they're overwhelmed. There's too much. And because there's too much, they then start to say to themselves, I'm not using this. And
Right.
as soon as that seed is planted, they're out. And so I share this because we as content creators naturally think the more content I provide, the more value I'm creating.
100%. I can resonate with that big time.
But it's just not true. And so
Mm-hmm.
the good news is that we need to scale back so we don't get ourselves caught on a big content treadmill. That's the big fear about memberships. Oh, I'm going to be on this content treadmill. I'm responsible for all this content. No, your members don't want a whole bunch of content. They just want clarity. They just want clarity about like what their next steps are in their journey. So I recommend no more than 4 deliverables a month, which essentially equates to 1 per week. And they can be as simple as a 15-minute video. Like we used to do one of our deliverables was what we call a backstage pass. And it was a behind the scenes look at how we were running our business. And this is when I was business partners with Michael Hyatt, who's an author. And so he teaches his audience how to grow their platform. That was the whole concept of his book and ultimately the membership. And so he would show people behind the scenes of how he does his podcast. He would show people behind the scenes of how he prepares for a presentation. One of the most popular backstage passes, I kid you not, was how he packs his suitcase when he's leaving for a speaking engagement. Like crazy, right? But these were short little 10 to 15-minute videos showing behind the scenes. That was one deliverable. Another example of a deliverable was we did what we called a Plat U how-to. And this was really like a how-to article, roughly 1,000 to 1,500 words. And it really outlined step by step how to do something very tactical as it related to, again, what we were helping people achieve and accomplish. Then we would do, we had done member makeovers where, again, we're walking people through things and giving them suggestions and ideas and critiques. We had done also another deliverable was a live Q&A. Mm-hmm. And then, as you said, just like you said, you changed your deliverables up. So did we. We also experimented with master classes where we focus on a topic. So this was more of like an interview where we would dive deep on a particular area with outside guests. And then we would build out like little action plans for people to follow through. So these are all different ideas of different types of deliverables. But the bottom line is that you do not want to overwhelm your people. If you're providing more than 60 minutes per week of content, you're going to overwhelm them because it's not just learning time. It's also implementation time. And I don't know if anybody listening has young kids, because if you do, you know that learning time and implementation time and taking care of the kids and doing everything else in life, we just don't have time for it all. And so you got to remember this. The shorter the learning time, the more time people have to implement. The more time they have to implement, the faster they're going to get results. The faster they get results, the more they will stay. So it all comes full circle, but essentially it boils down to core content and monthly deliverables.
And just for clarity for those listening, the core content, once you've built it out, it's sort of standalone. It's not as though you need to keep adding to that core content.
Absolutely.
Right?
Yeah. So you're going to do that one time, and that's going to serve as your base that gets everybody on the same page, cast the vision for where this is all going. And then your monthly deliverables, again, you want to keep them shorter is better. Focus really on the implementation side and helping people make progress. Because here's the other thing. In all of my years, I have never heard of somebody canceling a membership site because they're making too much progress. Like, I've never heard somebody say, you know what, I'm experiencing too much success. This membership is helping me make way more progress than I ever imagined, so I'm out. I've never heard that. So the focus for us is just to then help people make progress. And we often think that it's only the big wins that matter. But the reality of it is, it's not. It's the little wins that matter just as much, as long as people are making progress. Mm-hmm. And the measuring stick of their progress is the success path that we talked about earlier.
So there are two sort of mindset shifts that I think often people need to make when they're thinking about creating and launching a membership. Two things that get people stuck. One, you already kind of referred to, which is this idea of like having to be on the content hamster wheel and being really sort of stuck in always producing new stuff and being overwhelmed by that. And I think part of the answer is just making sure that you create deliverables that suit you as the founder just as much as they suit your members, right?
Yes, absolutely. Like nobody wants to create a job for themselves with a membership. That's not what we're about. We're about creating a membership that allows our members to be able to make massive progress and is sustainable for us where we enjoy it, you know? And so bite-sized content is the most important thing I want people to take away from this because again, we do not want to overwhelm our people. The focus is on implementation.
Mm-hmm. And then the second mindset shift that I have heard a lot is around people feeling nervous that they're going to get members to join their membership. Those new members are going to go and download all the things really quickly and then only stay for a month and peace out and cancel their subscription. And they will have only made $37 off that member as opposed to making the $297 or the $397 or the $997 that they would have made if they'd gone the online course route. So what do you say to people who come to you with that kind of worry?
Well, I often say, listen, I need to like grab them by the collar and shake them and say, get out of this fear mindset and realize that this is as much about providing content. Yes, people are coming for the content, but they're staying for so many other reasons. And at the end of the day, like I said, if people are making progress, they are going to stay. It is not about people coming and, you know, a transaction for information. People are not buying information. They're buying progress. Like we have to realize that. This is the mindset shift. They're not buying information. They're buying progress. And what they're buying is the support that they're getting to be able to make that progress. Because listen, there's an abundance of information for free online. Like, and here's the other side of this that I love. Like people often get their knickers in a twist thinking like, okay, wait a minute, Stu, why would anybody pay for my stuff in a membership when they can just go online and find it for free? Well, here's why. Because there are 1,000,001 free resources available. And so that puts a huge burden on the person to figure out A, what information is right, B, what order they need to focus on things, and C, how to actually do the stuff. Because knowing what to do is only half the battle. Actually implementing it and being supported through it is a totally different thing. And so I'll give you an example of this. So during the coronavirus, you have literally millions and millions of parents who have instantly been thrust into becoming teachers, right? And so now we're at home, like I'm saying we, because my wife and I are at home with our young kids. And now we've got to like figure out, okay, we don't want the kids on binging on Netflix all day. We don't want them on their iPads all day. We want them being productive. We want them still learning. But what the heck do we teach them? And there's 1,000,001 free resources online. But at the end of the day, I just want somebody to tell me, okay, if your kids are in this age, like, here's a plan. Just follow this plan. I'm like, thank you. Because that would save me endless hours of combing through all these websites, trying to piece together some kind of curriculum for my kids. Instead, somebody can just do the thinking. And there are people who are doing that, like Anna DiGilio. You know, Anna has a membership site for teachers. And this is what she does for teachers. She has thousands of teachers who she provides lesson plans for every single week. And so the teachers don't have to do the thinking about what to teach in their class. But she's made a slight pivot because she recognized, oh my goodness, there's millions of parents who have no clue what to do. So she's taken the same lesson plans that she would provide teachers and is now providing them for parents. And it's a godsend because now we don't have to think about what to do. We can simply just follow Anna's plan. So first, it's a great thing if you've got a ton of free information in your world, because bottom line is that people aren't buying information. They are buying clarity. And so when it comes to the fear of somebody coming in and downloading everything and then piecing out, here's what I would say. They come for the content, but they stay for the community. And what we've got to realize is that, like, again, as long as people are making progress, they will stay. So release yourself of that fear. And what I would say is keep moving forward in just serving people and showing up for them. Focus on helping them get results, and you will have a tremendous success.
Yeah, that's So true. And what I've seen in my membership as well. And I hopped on the phone with a bunch of my members sort of 6 months in to really get a good sense of why were they staying? What was it that was really valuable for them? And it surprised me because I expected it was going to be my great lessons and my awesome, slide decks with super helpful stuff. And it wasn't. It was always just the coaching calls and the Facebook group. And that's why people stay. And so,
and isn't that, at some point, like, we have to, it's humbling, it's kind of like, oh, I pour all this energy into these beautiful slide decks and on these great lessons, and oh, that's actually what, and so we just got to get over ourselves. Like, at the end of the day, we got to get over ourselves, and realize that, the membership is so much more than just the content we're providing. And the other side of this that I will say is that, like, what I love hearing is that you jumped on the call and talk to your people. It is a relationship. Like, it is, with a downloadable product like a book or even a self-study course or whatever, it's very transactional. Sometimes there's hardly any interaction. And membership is so much different. It's a relationship with your people. It's about going deep. It's about seeing where they are and really trying and working hard to help them make progress. And this is why our tribers, they don't see members come in and leave. They see members stay not for months, but many times years, because it is so much more. And the other thing that I would say is that when it comes to marketing our membership, we are very clear about, like, how to market on the front end. But when members come in, the marketing doesn't stop.
Right.
Marketing doesn't stop. You're always creating excitement and anticipation for what's coming. And I learned this just simply watching, speaking of Netflix, like some great Netflix series. But I don't know if anybody listening remembers back in the day, the show 24. But my wife and I were hooked on this show. And it was to the point where we'd be like, okay, we'll just watch one episode before we go to bed. And we'd watch one episode, and the main character, Jack Bauer, saves the day in the episode. We're feeling good. And then right at the end of the episode, something catastrophic would happen. And we're like, huh, what? No. And so we'd go from one episode to another episode to another episode. Before we knew it, it's like 2 a.m. We're like, what are we doing?
Yeah.
Now, what can we learn from that? Every time at the end of the episode, they would open a loop. The only way to close that loop is to watch the next episode. The same principles can be applied in our memberships. At the end of a month, we open a loop as to what is coming. We create excitement, create anticipation. The only way to close that loop is to stay on for another month. And then at the end of that month, we do the same thing. And so marketing doesn't stop. Yes, we're going to market on the front end, but we also want to market and create excitement on the back end within our membership as well.
Yeah, that really resonates with me. A really simple thing that we did was we sent little love notes to our members every Friday. It's just an email that goes out to everybody. And there's one section at the bottom that says what's coming up next week. And so you better be sticking around if you want to get what's coming up next week. No
Love
canceling your membership.
That's awesome.
So before we wrap up the conversation, Stu, I would love to just have you run through some of those top retention strategies, because I think that's sort of the last thing that people would maybe have a question about is really, how can I make sure that if I'm going to pour all this energy into creating this amazing membership, people stay? And we've already talked about they stay for that community, but any other like really practical retention strategies that people can take home with them?
Well, we talked about one right off the bat, which is creating anticipation for future content. So what this really entails is that you got to get yourself organized. So a lot of times when I am working with people who have existing membership sites who may not have come through the tribe program, their content is all over the place. And so a lot of the time they're creating content very sporadically, very last minute. And so they actually don't know what's coming up next month because they're creating it in the month that it's supposed to come out. And so because of that, they can't create anticipation. They can't, create that excitement. So getting yourself organized with a proper content strategy is important, not just because of the stress it's going to relieve for you, but because of the value it's going to create for your members to create that excitement, to create that anticipation. A couple other things that I would say is when somebody joins a membership, that first 24 hours and that first 7 days is so critical. And what we want to do is we really want to pour a lot of energy into our onboarding to get them involved and immersed in the community as quickly as possible. So a couple practical, tactical things. One, when you've got existing members, I would encourage you to reach out to them to ask if anybody would be willing to be part of a welcoming committee. And so that when new members are joining, and part of the onboarding process is that we encourage those new members to go and post into the community following a template, answering these 3 questions, like 3 questions that you outline, which makes it easy for people to be able to introduce themselves. Then we say to the welcoming community, can you just make sure that you jump in and pipe in, or maybe connect them to somebody who is in the membership that, could help them with blah, blah, blah. And what happens now is you start creating relationships and engagement. And when that happens, people feel welcomed. And now they're much more likely going to get involved and start communicating, interacting with others, etc. So that whole onboarding process, really important. There's a couple key takeaways there. One, when somebody joins, make sure as quickly as possible, you encourage them to make a post in your community introducing themselves and give them a template to follow. And what I typically do is suggest 3 questions that are going to open them up a little bit. And in that way, like, they don't have to think about, like, how do I introduce myself? And, which can be awkward. It's like, hey, I'm Stu, and here's why I'm awesome, and I'm awesome for these reasons. Like, nobody wants to say that. You give them 3 questions to answer, and it makes it so much easier. Then, next tip is, again, to invite your alumni or people who are already in the membership to be part of a welcoming committee so that they can engage with those people as they're making those posts, which makes them feel a lot more welcome, and that begins to cement the relationship. So there's a few tactical things right off the bat.
Yeah, that was really helpful. So who's Tribe best suited for? But as we're like wrapping up this conversation, and everybody knows I've been talking about Tribe for a while now, we'll be sending you guys all the videos, and when the doors open, we'll be giving you all that information. So if this sounds like the right program for you, you can jump on in and go through this program. And hopefully by the time Tribe Live happens, all the COVID stuff will be over, and we will actually have an amazing Tribe Live in Toronto this year. Stu, I'm sure you and your team are keeping your fingers crossed for that. But who is Tribe best suited for? If they're kind of on the fence, what would you say?
Well, I would say, listen, it doesn't matter if you have a product-based business, a service-based business, a knowledge-based business, or a community-based business. We all need to add recurring revenue to our business. We all need it to create that stability. We need to go from hoping that people are going to come back and buy from us to knowing that they're going to come and buy from us. And at the end of the day, for a lot of your audience, I know, who are content creators, who are producing courses, coaching programs, masterminds, all that kind of stuff, this is the perfect complement. Because again, you could either create a front-end membership, which is going to help bring a lot more people into your world and create that stability through that recurring revenue. And it also works perfect as a back-end membership to support people in implementing what it is you've been teaching them in a course and a program. And here's the other interesting part, is that I believe that your future, my future, the future of all of our businesses depends on the results that we can help people get. If we can't help people get a result, then it's a matter of time before the word gets out and it's just like, don't buy that because it doesn't work. Mm-hmm. Whereas with Tribe, as an example, like Tribe works. Tribe works. We obsess over helping people get results. And it's the reason why every single year we have thousands of new stories, not like old stories that we've been using for years. No, thousands of new stories every year because we obsess over helping people get results. And as a result of that, we then have all these incredible stories. And the stories, my friends, the stories of success is what is going to fuel your business, my business, all of our businesses. So the reason I love memberships is because it allows us to deepen that relationship and really support people in getting results. Those results create amazing stories. Those amazing stories fuel the marketing for whatever it is that we are selling. So at the end of the day, do I believe in memberships? 110%, more so now than ever before. And I've been hearing from brick and mortar business owners like, Casey Hope, who sent me a message recently. She said, Stu, we just had to make the really hard decision to close our art studio because of the whole coronavirus thing. She said, we had to close it for 3 weeks. She said, if I didn't have my online lettering membership, so she has a calligraphy membership, mm-hmm. She said, I'd be full of fear right now. Like, how am I going to pay my employees? How am I going to pay myself? Like, will I even have a business when this whole thing ends? She's like, but I don't have any of those worries. She said, we have our online membership and it is thriving and it is covering the costs of all of this stuff. And she's not the only one. I heard the same thing from Sarah Williams, who has a brick and mortar retail shop. I've heard from Tracy, whose husband's a chiropractor, but they're not worried, even though they've had to close the practice, because she's got an online membership. I've heard from Mary Claire Fredette, who had a traditional massage business, not worried because she's got an online membership. And then I've been hearing from so many people who are course creators, who are have more knowledge-based businesses, who did make the step to launch their memberships, who are saying, thank the heavens that I did this when I did, because none of us predicted that this would happen. But because we were prepared in having a membership, we don't have those worries. Like, I think of Michelle Lloyd, who is an artist over in the UK, and this year had a major breakthrough with her membership, adding hundreds and hundreds of members. And she said to me, it's been transformative, because before, again, she was an artist, like selling stuff, like one-off classes, hoping people were going to buy. Can you imagine having that pressure during this time? She doesn't have that because of the membership. I believe in this more now than ever before, and I want to encourage everybody listening, come and join us for the free workshop, because in the free workshop, I'm going to show you, how to identify whether your market is a good fit for a membership. We'll walk through the characteristics that will help you get that clarity. In the second part, I'm going to walk you through what do you actually provide in a membership. We touched on it a little bit here, but we're going to dive deep into the success path. We'll talk about what to do and how to structure your content. And then in the third part, we'll zoom up and I'll talk about the 5 major areas of a successful membership, starting with your foundation strategy, then your content strategy, your marketing strategy, your retention strategy, and your growth strategy. And we'll break them all down into a super detailed PDF blueprint that you'll be able to download and use right out of the gate. So am I excited about this, Gemma? You betcha. I am passionate about it now more than ever before.
Yeah, no, I couldn't agree more. And all of the links for all of those things are going to be with the show notes under this video, everywhere, in my email, all over the place, guys. So you can go on and learn from Stu, just like I have. Stu, thank you so much for coming on the show today. I really appreciate your time.
My pleasure. Thanks for having me.
Oh, wasn't that such a good interview? Stu is the best. So if you want to learn more about memberships, figure out if this is the right model for you to use in your business, really understand what it's going to take to launch a profitable membership out of the gate, I encourage you to head on over to GemmaBonham-Carter.com/tribe, where you can sign up for Stu's 3-part workshop. It's 3 jam-packed videos. You're going to learn so much through this series. And then he's also delivering a free masterclass at the end of that series before he launches and opens up the door to his tribe program. So I really encourage you to head on over GemmaBonham-Carter.com/tribe to sign up and really figure out whether this is the right model for you. And Tribe was the program that I invested in and took last year. I learned a lot from Stu. It was really instrumental in helping me launch and grow my own membership program, The Passive Project. And so if you've even had this in the back of your mind as something you might be interested in, don't wait, because Stu only does this once a year. So head on over, sign up, snag your spot. You won't regret it.